This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
Obviously, big win for the program, and so that was really exciting just to see those guys be able to celebrate that together. The positives, I thought, especially early in the game, and we didn't start out great early. I put that on me, but I thought our kids really responded well. Some short fields. I thought the play of the game was the fourth down stop, but as big of a play before that was the third down stop. We highlighted that. They hit us on a tunnel screen, and it looks like he's going to walk into the end zone. Marcus makes a great tackle to get him down, and then our guys rise up on fourth down. So overall, I thought our third down defense was solid. We were. Percentage-wise, we were close to 80% as far as our third down conversion rate goes. They were pretty aggressive on fourth down, going forward on some fourth and short situations. We definitely left some execution out there, especially early, that we could have helped ourselves, get off the field. But I thought third down defense was a positive. I thought run defense was okay. They hit us on outside zone, the exact same play 3 or 4 times. There were some things that we got to get better at on the perimeter, getting off blocks, some of those areas. Then just, the couple explosive plays that we gave up, in particular that last touchdown drive that was frustrating. I thought we played good enough to win the game, obviously. It's like I told the guys, I thought we could have played better. I thought we left a couple out there. I don't know if we played good enough to win the game by ourselves if we weren't great in all facets there. But overall, proud of how they played. I think they were ready to play, no doubt, and so it's on to the next one.
All right, we'll take questions now for Coach Symons. We'll start with Damian from the News in Advance.
Morning, Scott. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing, Damien?
Doing well. You look at Jack Abraham in this passing attack, and it looks like they're probably going to be one of the more lethal attacks you'll play up to this point this year, and going up against a secondary that's played very well through 5 weeks. What challenges do they possess, and what have you seen out of your group that lets you know that they're going to be able to rise to the challenge and continue to make plays?
Yeah, that's a great question. I do. So we played ULM. I told you guys I thought it was our biggest challenge just because they had a quarterback going into our game that I felt like had efficiently distributed the football. I think that our pressure up front really got to him, and I thought, watching that game afterwards, he looked flustered, and I thought our coverage was really good on the back end. So I don't think we were tested maybe as much as I thought we would be, but I thought our guys played a clean game, and I use that as a comparison because this is the best quarterback that we have played for sure. He can run, he can throw, he's a winner. He's a guy that probably if he's 2 inches taller is playing in the SEC. He you can tell he's got it. You can tell that his teammates believe in him. He's been in the moment. He's made big plays. He's very efficient running their offense. By far, I think the best arm talent as far as accuracy that we have seen to date this season. And then, you couple that with, I would say a really good group of wideouts. I think these wide receivers are better than Monroe. I think they're better than probably everybody we've played. Now, I don't know if they have a guy that's got the top end speed that 3 had this last week, but 5 is a problem, 17 is a problem, 0 is a problem. They got a really good group of wideouts, and I think their running backs are all really solid. And it looks like Ragsdale sounds like he'll be back, and so they'll have a good staple of between him and Gore, 2 really solid running backs. So I think that this will be the best overall challenge as far as a offense schematically with all the pieces to test us thus far this season. I really do believe that.
Let's go to John from the Sea of Red.
Morning, Coach.
Good morning.
I was looking back to that play Darrell Johnson made on the sack. He was double teamed coming off the edge there and was able to beat the 2 guys and got a sack in a key situation and forced a punt. It seems like we talk about him every week, But is that the same thing you saw? How key is it for you as a defensive coordinator to be able to have a guy like him and Trayshawn, some of the other guys that can still get double teamed and just beat their blockers?
Yeah, I think the name of the game, John, is speed up front and edge rush guys that can affect quarterbacks. So we talk about it all the time. Sacks are huge, but the hurries and pressures are the things that you don't see in the stat column. So that's one play that jumps out that is a huge. What was it, a 15-yard loss or something like that? At that point in the game, knocked him out of what was possibly field goal range. Those sorts of things. But the thing that I was most pleased, and Coach Alders was most pleased about Darrell, was I thought this was his most assignment-sound football game. He'd had, each week he'd make some plays, but have some key busts of things. Typically things maybe you guys don't see because it's in the run game and, where he's supposed to fit on this or that. And we really didn't have that. He graded out, usually in that room, I would say the majority of the season, Trey and Ralph have graded out the highest as far as assignment football. Darrell's probably been the most productive week in to week out, but hasn't graded out as high as those guys. And I thought he was really efficient with his snaps on Saturday.
Coach, I'll ask you one. Just looking at Southern Miss, it doesn't look like they've been as effective in the run game, just looking at the numbers, but is that kind of just by design for them? They just lean on the pass more? Have they been forced to throw it more, maybe being behind in some games? I mean, kind of what do you assess or what do you make out of the numbers on them run to pass?
Well, I think it's a great question, Nick. I think it's a little bit skewed just because they're an RPO-based offense. So when you look at it, a lot of those are a quarterback doing a great job of knowing the coverage, reading the coverage, getting guys to bite up, and then throwing the ball back behind. So, I think if you actually looked at it from, how many of these are true drop back passes as compared to, an RPO glance and some of those things, then it's a little bit more balanced from that standpoint. And, I think that's because you got an older veteran quarterback that can really read coverages, can manipulate defenses, and knows where to distribute the ball based on the numbers that he gets in the box.
Quick follow-up to that then. What kind of a problem can Frank Gore be for you back there?
I think he's a really good back. Like I said, I think between him and I think Ragsdale's a good back too, the other back that they've played as well. I think they're both solid backs. I think, Ragsdale's a little bit bigger kid. I think I think they both can run. I mean, that's when you look at their skill in general, just like to compare it to last week, Sean Tucker was he was a big back. His speed didn't scare me. It was just, can we tackle him, right? We've played some big backs, FIU. Had some monster tailbacks, but these are solid backs that are strong that can also run. So I think anytime you have that threat back there, it's something that we have to be alert to for sure.
Thanks. Let's go to Emily from Flame Central. Emily, you're muted.
Gosh, I'm such a rookie. Coach Reese was saying that the biggest area of growth on this team was the confidence in the defense. Do you agree with that? And what have you seen and how the confidence has grown defensively?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I think we are a very confident group. I think they're to the point now where their expectation is what ours as a staff is for them, and that's us to be able to put the ball down and play anybody anywhere and be ready to play good solid football. I thought off of that, one of the things that we harped on as a staff on defense this week was sudden change mentality. We felt like it was going to be big in the game. When you play a bigger school, a couple things factor in that are sometimes outside of your control. Well, number one, they had led the country in getting the ball back, so we knew that. As far as their defense, so we harped on it for our guys to be ready for those situations. I felt like Coach Babers, with their back against the wall, we felt like that, he'd probably go for some of those 4th and shorts. And then special teams wise, it's when you're playing a school that might have, some older veteran guys or bigger guys, special teams is one of the areas that, if they're playing, starters or, a lot of those guys, and we might not have the depth, sometimes field position's a big factor. And so I think some of those things came to fruition in the game. And what I was pleased was our mentality when we took the field. It's not they got the ball in the 30, we're just going to give them a touchdown. I thought our kids, for the most part, rose up in some of those tough field position situations. And I think that, to answer your question, I think that goes to the confidence of, it doesn't matter if the ball's on the 20 or, they're backed up. We have a job to do and we're going to do it. So definitely I think we're playing with a lot of confidence. I think we have a lot of swagger to us. And with that, I think, with confidence, you just got to talk to them about, confidence, not cockiness, and staying humble through the process, right? Because, like we talked to them as a staff, I mean, we've got a little bit of a chip on our shoulder mentality, and we have to keep that. That's what's got us to this point. As soon as we start to get proud and a little bit cocky, that's when you'll be humbled, right? So I think just staying humble through the process, but maintaining that quiet confidence that we have about ourselves.
All right, let's go to Damien, and then we get time for one more.
Coach, you look at how well Emmanuel Dabney has played this year, and we didn't get to see what he could do last year with the hamstring injury, and he rebounded from giving up a deep pass down the sideline with getting a PBU on the next play. He's made some tackles this year, and what can you speak to his growth and what he's meant playing opposite of Chris Meganson?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, and I think I hit on this earlier in camp or the season, is just I think he's much tougher mentally than he was a year ago. I think that he's pushed through and is continuing to push through. Not being maybe 100% all the time. But he's going to go out there and he's going to play and he's going to fight through whatever nick and injury. He's a high-strung athlete. I mean, he's a really fast guy, so those guys are more injury prone, and he's battled through those things and continued to play. And so I think that's the area that I've been the most pleased with is I know he's going to get out there and compete, and I know we can count on him to do that. With that, I think just continuing to play with technique. Both him and Chris made some really good plays in that game, and when our technique was good, we were in good position to make plays. When we didn't trust our technique, more than anything, I think is when we had some of those issues as far as staying on top of those guys. And I know those guys see that and know that, and it's just to continue to have that one play focus each and every play. Because corners, I mean, it's the toughest position on the field. Maybe outside of playing quarterback, I mean, if a nose guard screws up, y'all typically don't know. If Ralph fits the wrong gap, well, we know it hit in the middle, but maybe it's the linebacker, maybe it's the D tackle. But if a corner gets beat, everybody knows. So, I think having that mentality and that, just that approach each and every play, and continue to build on that.
All right, let's finish up with John.
Coach, your unit is ranked top 10, pretty much all major statistical categories nationally. Are you at all surprised by the amount of growth that your side of the ball has seen in your tenure here at Liberty?
No, John, I mean, I think we expected it as a staff. I mean, it starts with recruiting up front. That's where everything starts, and I think Coach Alder's done a great job in the short time we've been here, changing the dynamic of that room and developing, guys like Ralph and Trey, guys that were here from the previous staff, into those roles. So I think that's the biggest change, and then I think it's just from there worked its way back into the development of our guys. I think our staff's done a great job. I think Coach Humley's done a great job with our corners. I think Coach Batoon's done a great job with our safeties, and I think those have been two huge positives this season is the job that they've done thus far through 5 games. So no, I'm really not. I think these next couple of weeks will be really tested and kind of see where we're at, and I'm excited for this week just to see if our kids rise to the occasion.